It is not trying to stop bulldozer action in general. Anyhow, but that's, let's say, you can tell or you can give any other example. There are so many guidelines issued by court to protect rights of people, but those guidelines are not adhered. देखो बुलडोजर की ज़रूरत कब है? जब आप एनी इलीगल हाउस यू हैव, एनी एनक्रोचमेंट यू हैव, तो जाहिर सी बात है कि हमारे देश में हर जगह एनक्रोचमेंट है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ही ऑर्डर दिया है एनक्रोचमेंट हटाने के लिए, ये भी आपको पता होना चाहिए. Discuss the value premises of constitutionalism in India, which bureaucracy, let's say, bureaucracy cannot violate. Which the bureaucracy cannot violate. This. What you will write? Value premises are why do four things. This. Value premises will be that the preamble, fundamental rights, DPSP, and fundamental liberties. Yes. Can? Right. It is about fundamental rights. You have to write they cannot means that they cannot violate fundamental rights. They are supposed to not violate fundamental rights, because fundamental rights blah blah they deal with don'ts, then enforceable. This there are rights like this. If it is violated, Supreme Court can strike their action. This, so that is what we learned. This still, let's say that ki, even if they are not supposed to violate, but we find ki how there is also violation by bureaucracy, and that has raised questions related to rule of law. This custodial deaths, you can say, torture, you can say. Supreme Court lays down guidelines. So there are also guidelines on encounter laid down by the Supreme Court. But even those encounter guidelines are not adhered. Recently, Supreme Court also remarked on bulldozer, let's say that, as long as the case is not finalized, there will not be bulldozer action. But you know that a few states also disrespected. And they, अभी तो फिर से अभी भी आ रहा है, एक दो वीडियो में ये भी लिखते हैं लोग कि बुलडोजर तो चलता रहेगा. This. तो उनकी भी अपनी थिंकिंग है. उसके घर पे जिस दिन बुलडोजर चलेगा तब पता चलेगा उसको. This. नहीं तो वो तो पहले भी है. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कोई देखो बुलडोजर की ज़रूरत कब है? जब आप एनी इलीगल हाउस यू हैव, एनी एनक्रोचमेंट यू हैव, तो जाहिर सी बात है कि हमारे देश में हर जगह एनक्रोचमेंट है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ही ऑर्डर दिया है एनक्रोचमेंट हटाने के लिए, ये भी आपको पता होना चाहिए. दिस, so there are many such cases where they have themselves given this order to remove encroachments, this remove slums. So, but how? So you give notice. This, the legitimization तो पहले से भी है. Rules are there. There are municipal corporation acts. Under that there are rules, and that under rules, this is how, let's say कि since these are at local level, this. But वो जो प्रोसेस था उसको आपने एक तरह से selectively यूज किया. That has it is trying to stop selective use of that. It is not trying to stop bulldozer action in general. Anyhow, but that's, let's say, you can tell or you can give any other example. There are so many guidelines issued by court to protect rights of people, but those guidelines are not adhered. This. So that you can say, this is how it is. and then how to promote it, constitutional morality, political culture, way forward, you can write on this. It is the last question, I think. Thereafter, they have not asked. Constitutionalism is the foundation of the administrative edifice in India. What does it mean? Yes, they have asked once more. Basically, let's say if administration is structure, its institution, its principles are nothing but foundation of constitutionalism. Means administration foundation is foundation of constitutionalism. And what is foundation of constitutionalism? The foundation of constitutionalism is determined by the four those parts of the constitution. So you will basically write that how those four parts, right, influence administration, its structure, its behavior. Right. So those four parts, let's say you can divide that structure and behavior. Structure is about centralized structure, you know that. Right. Centralized and democratic structure we have. And behavior is that it should become, let's say, democratic. Yes. That way you have to divide and write. So this part that time I did not tell. So this is what you should know, that means value premises decide structure and behavior of administration. Structure that we have a democratic polity. A democratic polity and bureaucracy should be responsible to that democratic polity. Like the way we have socialist, secular, democratic republic. This. And behavior is that it should be democratic. Democratic in the sense that it has to respect the fundamental rights of people and it has to promote socio-economic development. This. Plus, it has to have the moral code in conduct called fundamental duties. So, they should also imbibe those fundamental duties being as a public servant. Yes. And those things work as a moral guide to them. So, this is how it is trying to expect, let's say, you should write about constitutionalism. Many a time in place of constitution, they can use the term constitutionalism. So, इसे आपको घबराने की ज़रूरत नहीं है कि I have to write constitutionalism. Constitutionalism and constitution, they can say, they treated. So you can write certainly constitutionalism. Constitutionalism is the idea of limited government which is based on the following characteristics, write those characteristics. And then you tell that these characteristics in our constitution can be largely derived from the features of the constitution, that the first four parts of the value premises that we have, the preamble, fundamental rights, DPSP and fundamental duties. This. They provide the structure and behavior of administration in India. Yes. So they determine the, let's say, administrative edifice of Indian administration. That is, structure should be democratic polity and behavior should be democratic, as against what it used to be in past as colonial and police state type. This means administration should be, let's say, responsible, it should promote democracy, it should protect fundamental rights, that can be written, and it should also improve socio-economic, let's say, development of the society. So this way you have to write on this question, and that is how it means. Then it says discuss, then you can write some, let's say, that problems, you can criticize how administration, even if it is based on constitutionalism, but at times you can find that there is not limited government, rather arbitrary exercise of power. And that arbitrariness, let's say you can write some examples of arbitrariness, and plus also how to promote it, that aspect. This, so that. Means content. Means you are saying that content is more and how to write in 150 words. Yes, तो यही तो challenge है. That is the challenge in paper second. In let's say you have to, right? You have to learn how to write in short, right? So when you have to learn how to write in short, so you will not write in details. डिटेल्स में आप नहीं लिखोगे, जस्ट आप बहुत ही आर्टिकुलेटेड होगा. जो भी एक डेफिनेशन लिख दिया कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म, लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट, दो चार कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स लिख दिया. On the one side characteristics, other side the four value premises. This, and then thereafter they decide the structure and behavior of the bureaucracy. It is democratic polity, it is democratic behavior, protecting fundamental rights. एक दो एग्जाम्पल लिख देंगे कि गुड एग्जाम्पल कि हाउ इट इज लाइक RTI you can consider 73rd 74th Amendment Act. This then after that you will write that कि even if it is based on constitutionalism, but we find that कि there is arbitrary exercise of power. फिर एक दो एग्जाम्पल लिख दो और वे फॉरवर्ड हो गया, right? Details will not write. This detail I was speaking, but then but in answers you don't have to write. This is a challenge that you have to do the practice. Maharashtra, someone is writing, but I may not understand what you are writing in that. It is in Marathi or it is in Hindi. बड़ा छे आए थे क्या है ये? Creating chaos in society. देखो सोसाइटी ने भी तो एक्सेप्ट किया है, सोसाइटी को भी तो अच्छा लग रहा है. सोसाइटी ने रिजेक्ट कर दिया होता. सोसाइटी को अच्छा लग रहा है, हरियाणा में वर्क किया तो it was pilot basis. Now it is extended. Someone is writing like this. तो सोसाइटी को भी अच्छा लग रहा है, डिवाइड एंड रूल. यस, तो दे आर ऑल्सो डिवाइडिंग एंड रूलिंग. ये तो प्योर पॉलिटिक्स है. Anyhow, this then last question on constitutionalism. Examine the extent to which the ideal of constitutionalism as government by limited powers has been a functional reality. वही पेपर एंड दिस, ये तो डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन है. जो दो लिखा गया है दोनों साइड लिखो, आप लास्ट में बोल दो कि रियलिटी है कि नहीं है. Tell that we can say we are a functional democracy, so we can say there is constitutionalism, but we have to improve it, or it should improve. This, so this is what question on constitutionalism. Thereafter they have not asked. I think 23 में भी नहीं आया था. I guess कि 24 में भी नहीं आया. Yes. So possibility that 25 में आएगा, isn't it? Yes, that way we can consider.